You can see, well, he wants to be extremely careful with the Oracle, so it's much better to just send in hallucinated units than dance around with your real Oracle all the time, and if he flies it into something it shouldn't be, that could be a really big loss.
What has been this Oracle just hasn't gotten anything done. It's killed a couple of Marines, a single SCV.
The fact that it's there is still not bad. Like, so far, as I said multiple times already, like it forces Bomber to worry about it. Bomber is going to have to worry about it all the time. And above all, as soon as Bomber wants to start moving out, Revelation can go down on the matter of fact. Actually, a couple of Marines stimmed to the middle of the map and picked off the Oracle once more. Now, this is a massive pickoff for Bomber. Now, sOs is making it very hard on himself once again.
He's now lost all of his vision. He can continue to hallucinate Phoenixes and check with those, but for all intents and purposes.
Sick play by Bomber though, just having a couple of Marines on the rep, and as soon as Stim finished up, he just stimmed forward and was able to pick up that Oracle. Now 48 army supplies moving out against 36. This is a difficult phase in the game for sOs to survive. He is playing without a robotics facility. He has no vision on any of the airspace. I have no idea how he's going to defend against all the drops.
Going to have to be excellent use of Storm. Actually, sOs is going to walk down his ramp to meet Bomber. Here he sees the army, and of course he'll immediately turn back around, does not want to contend with this Bioforce. In open space, a good first Storm, a good second Storm from sOs. That's going to push Bomber back for now. But with Medivacs overhead, all he has to do is heal up and be content to know that there's only a single Storm left behind this.
Additional Nexus going down for sOs, and we just saw him dropping the robotics facility as well. Those were indeed pretty juicy storms, but I wouldn't have minded to maybe see like a double feedback on two of those Manifacts, so it makes it a lot harder for Bomber to drop from that point on, or even just heal up that army.
Zealot count is pretty high right now for sOs. He's got 12 Zealots out with charge.
Still needs a photon overcharge to deal with his army though, or maybe a couple of excellent force fields. Guardian Shield will go down, he will zone out a couple of these bio units.
But he's not going to get any kills as the positioning of Bomber's army is too good for these Zealots to engage. There's a good Storm all over the Marines. And a second good Storm is going to pick up a couple of Marine kills. sOs is hanging in there, but Bomber relentless with these pokes. Marines and Marauders just dancing forward, doing as much damage as they can before backing off. Oh, another good Storm. Third base has completed for sOs.
But one High Templar did get picked off, and it had a lot of energy, so this is still going to be a little rough for sOs, but he does, of course, have photon overcharge if he really needs it, or maybe a time warp. That's another great Storm landing on top of many of those Marines.
Yeah, sOs has been storming brilliantly in both games 1 and 2.
I'm a little bit surprised that they're so even, like supply-wise, that Bomber just has a small advantage. I don't feel that Bomber has been throwing away too many units. And sOs, despite that Stargate opening, one more High Templar gets picked up over here. That's a good play by Bomber. Those are really important pickups.
Archon might also go down, drops very low.
Close.
And it's all about the Zealots and the Templar right now. sOs knowing that he needs to land good Storms. He knows he can't afford to lose any more High Templar.
Bomber is doing a fantastic job microing this so far. This is insane. He's going to try to snipe out additional High Templars. Doesn't really get one though.
A couple of whiff Storms this time, and Bomber's position improving ever so slightly. He's going to continue trying to find openings. Hasn't tried dropping yet.
There are 10 Medivacs out on the map right now, so there is so much healing normally in this army, even though we can see most of those Medivacs are extremely low on energy. But still, a couple of Storms are not going to be good enough. He needs to land Storms to actually finish off the Marines, because just damaging them against 10 Medivacs, that's not going to cut it.
Here comes Bomber's third base. There's a Zealot there trying to delay that inevitability, but
first drop going out as well, Ben, on the right top side of the map. This could be an extremely important. The first observers are in production. He does have High Templar there with a lot of energy. A couple of feedback probably not that good, as they won't have that much energy. sOs knows he's going to storm all 4 Medivacs.
And Bomber is going to boost into the main base. He's going to drop right on top of warping in Zealots. Also pushing into the third base is Bomber. A good Storm from sOs. He immediately pulls his probes, and this drop has been beautifully dealt with. Bomber trying to micro and make the most of it, but his army in the third base has been cleaned up. This drop in the main is sticking around for a little while longer, though. Probes starting to fall now. Photon overcharge being forced.
I felt Photon overcharge was a little late to this party. He lost a lot of additional probes that he really didn't have to lose, and a couple of those Zealots were not able to finish off the units, which they would have been if they actually had Photon overcharge assisting them. Now we can see that this drop will get cleaned up eventually, but not before. It definitely paid for itself.
Yeah, grand total of 12 probes dying. sOs now out on the maps, found some Medivacs in transit.
But the Nexus is running pretty damn low on HP.
But one Marauder is not going to be enough to take it down. Bomber might come back for a second visit though, Kev. Colossus transition is on the way for sOs. Thermal Lance in the first of his Colossi are in production.
I must say I'm starting to like the upgrades for Bomber. It's going to be 2-2 against 0-2 soon. Of course, the +2 armor is nice for SOS, but a couple of attack upgrades would be nice as well. Then again, he will have Storm and Colossus at the same time just to fight against pure bio army. So upgrades are not the most important thing in the world for him, at least the attacking upgrades. As long as he has units to just survive and defend those Colossus and is able to land a couple of Storms, he should be in pretty damn good shape.
His Zealot Harass is not going to do too much damage. Bomber is just in position to deal with it this time. And his drop making its way around the top half of the map is a huge one. There's a lot of Zealots in the main base, but that Nexus is so low, Kev, that
I don't know. I don't think Bomber should go for this because there's not much else going on the map, so it's not very likely that this drop is going to deal a crazy amount of damage. There are a couple of High Templars there. There's Photon Overcharge as well. He is scanning, so he's even going to give it away. Yep. Oh, it's so smart to put those two Medivacs in front because I think he was hoping that he would feedback them, and those are the empty Medivacs. That's a sick play by Bomber.
Oh, but there will be feedbacks in the third base where Bomber has decided to unload. No Medivacs falling. A Colossus a little bit too exposed is going to take a lot of damage, but does not fall. Good control from SOS, and Bomber's got no choice but to evacuate at the same time. Pushing into the natural Stalkers, and Colossi are in position though, and Bomber cannot find an opening.
Time is ticking, man. Now the additional Starport is going down. +1 air weapons being researched as well. This is the point in the game where Bomber said, all right, I'm not going to win this game with just Marines and Marauders. No matter how good my drop control is, as I'm going to try to drop once more. And he's able to pick off a few probes. Wow, that's a great storm.
Beautiful defense. Everything goes down. Archon picks up the final shot on the Medivac, and Bomber will back off completely. 185 Terran supply against 160 Protoss supply. Harvesters 66 to 55, so the income honestly is pretty even at this point in the game.
Oh,
Bomber! Also even good storm, and great feedbacks on the Medivacs. Bomber is going to be forced to turn around once again. Oh man, that is a lot of Marines, Kevin, and they are going to press forward.
Colossus, he can't really run into this army. Those Colossus are not going to die. There are barely any Vikings. Additional High Templars coming in as well. That was so good for SOS. He killed so many of those Medivacs.
Oh man, and the Marines are going to continue to be roasted. Archons and Colossi just ripping through the army of Bomber.
But Bomber picked off 2 High Templars there with an insane amount of energy. That was very good. I'm not sure if SOS has any additional High Templars. Yes, he has a couple of defensive ones. Don't have as much Storm as the ones that he just lost though. But still, this is going to be a very, very tough hold for Bomber.
Oh, he's behind in supply. Army supply is 113 to 110. Bomber may have 3-3 when they fight, and that could be invaluable. But how is he ever going to deal with the Colossi? There are only 4 Vikings out on the map. Scans to kill the Observer, but that's not going to happen. A good blink, and a couple of those Vikings do go down. Bomber stems and pushes forward, and SOS says, no, I'm not going to fight unless we're going to show good feedback again from that High Templar.
Man, SOS has played a fantastic game number 2 over here. Perhaps once more a little sloppy in the start, but the moment he started defending, it was perfect. Storms are going to land all over
storms
these Marines.
all over the bio. SOS is pushing Bomber all the way back into the third base. More storms go down, and Bomber's in a lot of trouble. Here's the SCV pull, but it's not gonna matter. SOS is just destroying the army of Bomber. The last of his troops will go down. Good game. SOS ties it up at 1 each.
Wow, what a fantastic ending to game number 2. SOS dancing his army multiple times, and Bomber dropping the Manamuse as well, saying like, all right, I see what you did there. What a great game by SOS, man. I think it was once more. I don't understand that how these Protoss players are able to defend the drops so well while having barely any observers, and even he lost his Oracle early on. How they do it is beyond me. Of course, Photon Overcharge helps out a lot, but it is so hard to do it, to split up your units properly every single time, but SOS did it, man.
That's pretty ridiculous. SOS just knew when he was going to be dropped, and he had units in the right places, and took a little bit of damage here and there, but mostly just dealt with it, and he did so in convincing fashion. Very nice play from SOS there on Akalon Waste. We're going to move on to Derelict Watcher. You know, at the start of the pre-show, Day 9 was like, you know, this is what I think is going to happen. Bomber's going to win game 1, and then SOS is going to take games 2 and 3 before Bomber closes it out 3-2. Maps 4 and 5. So far, Day 9's been spot on in his prediction.
Yeah, it was a very wise prediction. He's like, I don't even know what game number 1 is going to be or which map, but this is how it's going to go. It was a pretty picture to paint, and so far so good.
I think Derelict Watcher will be a much harder map though for SOS. Bomber with the openness is going to be able to engage much more freely.
And certainly because Bomber is a player as well that likes to stick on Marines and Marauders for quite a while, and sOs is working with so few units, and there's a lot of surface area in the main base where you can still drop, even when Photon Overcharge is active, you can just dance outside of the range of Photon Overcharge because the main base is so big. So sOs is going to have to do things a little different. One more thing I really love from sOs, though, Ben, is that he wasn't really too worried about those attack upgrades. Of course, attack upgrades are awesome, but he's just like, hey, if you refuse to make either Gulls or Vikings, I'm just going to stick on Colossus and High Templars, and as long as I have armor upgrades and my army survives, I am going to completely crush your army. That was great game sense by sOs.
Very nice reactive play from sOs as we move on to game number 3. Derelict Watcher is the map, and spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, the WCS Season 2 champion, the Red Terran player, Startails Bomber. Bomber's opponent just look oh so convincing on Akalon Waste. He's the blue Protoss player in the top right-hand corner of the map from Woongjin Stars, sOs. A lot of people here watching the WCS Global Finals, semifinal number 1. Of course, coming up after this, Jaedong versus Maru. A lot of people in the house very excited for Jaedong.
Couldn't blame them, man. I get a little excited for Jaedong.
I cannot begin to explain what my body does when Jaedong plays StarCraft 2.
I am super curious to see how this game will play out. As you mentioned as well, Derelict, a much harder map to defend 3 bases than Akalon. There is so much area just between these 2 bases, and even like the turret has quite a bit of surface area where a Bomber could start dropping. So I really wonder if sOs is going to do something different. And is he going to go with the Stargate opening once more? Because those Oracles, Ben, have not really been paying for themselves. In game number 1, it was just, it was horrible. They did absolutely nothing. Game number 2, he was able to keep it around a little longer, but he still lost it in the face of the game where he would not want to lose that Oracle. And I'm just blown away because when you watch these guys play and we have full vision so we can see the drops incoming, and then we see like, oh, the Protoss player has some units here and there. But if you are sOs and you have as little vision as he had, it is so extremely hard to always have units in the right place and always do the right thing. I'm just blown away by the game sense of these guys.
Yeah, great game sense, great positional play out of both players.